This is Nancy Drew, The Deadly Plot Device, a story by Arglefumph. This has to be the last video of my audiobook because we're pretty much at the end of the game. Chapter 35, The Final Puzzle. When Nancy woke up, she was inside the Faraday cage, inside the Tesla coil lab. Apparently, Victor had dragged her unconscious body a sizable distance. You're awake. Well, that's unfortunate for you. Victor, why are you doing this? Nancy whined. Stay out of the lab. That was the one thing I asked you to do, and you couldn't. You see, Nancy, I knew Niko had something hidden in here. I just couldn't find it, which is why I asked you to stay out. It would have been smarter if he asked her to find the hidden thing and then report to him immediately. You know what? If Victor had done that, things would have ended up much differently. Victor explained his plans in detail. He had purposely hired Nancy due to her reputation as an amateur sleuth, and the hope that she would believe all the false evidence against Ryan. When that didn't work, he planted false evidence against Mason and Ellie. Now I'm going to kill you, Nancy Drew, Victor said. He turned on the Tesla coil and electricity filled the air. If his plan is to electrocute me, why did he lock me in the Faraday cage to protect me? Nancy wondered. After all, he didn't do that when he killed Niko. But there was no time to worry about that now. The Faraday cage was strong, but it would break eventually if Victor kept attacking it with high-powered electricity. Nancy turned to the side of the cage where the emergency lightning rod box was located. All she had to do was raise the lightning rod to divert the electricity away. Opening the box, Nancy found that the circuit board was empty, except for a mess of wires. Fortunately, Victor had taken away none of her things, including the video of him committing murder. Yeah, he leaves it in Nancy's inventory. That's so weird. It was also fortunate that the electrical circuits and the schematic that Ryan gave Nancy just happened to be for this exact circuit board. What a lucky twist of fate. Nancy took out the circuits and applied them to the circuit board, with some help from the circuitry book. I don't know if she had a soldering gun to cement the circuits into place, but it wouldn't surprise me if she did. When Nancy was finished, the lightning rod was raised. Instead of using the lightning rod button in the control room, Victor decided to open the door and step out into the room while the Tesla coil was active. He was quickly zapped with electricity and fell unconscious. While it was good that Victor had been stopped, Nancy was still stuck inside the Faraday cage. She couldn't leave until the Tesla coil was deactivated, but it was impossible for anyone to go inside the control room and turn the Tesla coil off. So how did Nancy escape? I don't know. Maybe Ellie came back with the police and unplugged the room from outside? Gray woke up and saved her. Yeah, let's say that happened. Chapter 36. Letters. Dear Dad. Well, another mystery solved. It turned out that Victor was the killer. He hired me in order to frame Ryan for Niko's death. You'd think he would have left the situation alone after the police closed the murder investigation, but I suspect he's not as smart as he pretends to be. After all, he did walk right into the pathway of an active Tesla coil machine. Speaking of which, it turns out that the Tesla coil machine can be activated and deactivated remotely. Who knew? You think someone would have mentioned that at some point? After all, the coil was used as a murder weapon. Victor has been sent to jail, and he gave a full confession, in hopes of getting a leniency deal. But I doubt there will be much leniency to be had, though. At least, that's what I heard from his cellmate, Detective Beach. As soon as the police left, Mason transferred all the lab's files to a flash drive and fled the country. He tried to sell Niko's information to a foreign country in exchange for an unlimited supply of paper clips. Fortunately, Gray managed to stop him. A video of their argument, entitled Epic Nerd Fight, has gone viral on the internet. It's the second most viewed video on YouTube, after the epic rap battles of mystery video I made with the Hardy Boys. Speaking of the Hardy Boys, I got a message from them on my phone. The two of them were in a life or death situation, and Frank said, "Nancy, I have to tell you something important. I love..." The message was cut off after that. I called them back to make sure they were okay, and I reassured Frank that I already know he loves cheeseburgers. For some reason, he sounded depressed after that. Brian quit her job and is now working for a gummy bear factory. She rides her motorcycle around town on the weekends. Meanwhile, Ellie is moving back to Georgia, which coincidentally is the location of the next Nancy Drew game. I made that joke already in this story. I shouldn't be repeating jokes. Bad Arglefumph, bad Arglefumph. Be a more creative writer. As for Niko, the fingerprint I found revealed that Niko was secretly Nikola Tesla the whole time. Can you believe it? Tesla didn't die in 1943. That was all a big fake. As a result of one of his electrical experiments, he found a way to make the electrical pulse of his heartbeat continue long past normal human capacity. If he hadn't been killed, he probably would have lived forever. Yeah, that's right. Nikola Tesla Frankensteined himself into immortality. Yeah, that is creative. It's too bad I never got to meet him. I could have told him the secret to staying as a teenager your entire life. It's worked for me for the past 82 years. Love, Nancy. Dear Deirdre, I heard what you tried to do to Ned. I don't care if we're buddies now. Stay away from my boyfriend, okay? Nancy. Alright, so that is the end of Nancy Drew, the Deadly Plot Device. I hope you enjoyed this story. Check out my other parody stories. I've done Nancy Drew, Worst of Blackmore Manor, Mystery of the 6.5 Keys, Secrets Can Chill. Actually, that's it. I think I've only done the 4 Nancy Drew parody stories. But hey, who knows? Maybe these videos will be popular and I will feel motivated to write another one. Let me finish this video with some secret stuff that I've never shown anyone. I did start a parody story of Nancy Drew's Secret of the Odd Clock, but I gave up very quickly. Let me read just everything I wrote for this. Nancy Drew's Secret of the Odd Clock. Chapter 1. Unexplained Time Travel. The year? 1930. The place? The road to Titusville, where Nancy Drew is behind the wheel of her blue roadster, pondering this question. What the heck is going on? Nancy looked left and right, trying to figure out where she was. She had never seen this place before, and there appeared to be no signs on the unpaved roads. Where was she? Last thing I remember, I was writing a letter to Ned about my adventures in Blackmore Manor, Nancy thought, and now I'm here. Whatever that... Whoa, is that an antique car? That's crazy. Who leaves one of those out in the middle of nowhere like that? The road came to a sudden stop in front of a building. Nancy hit the brakes and put the car in park. Or at least she tried to. The car was a stick shift, and Nancy had no idea which of the 6 handle positions was park, or why there was a 3rd car pedal, for that matter. It took her about 20 seconds of trying every position before she figured out which one parked the car. She sighed with relief and turned off the car. She opened the side door, stepped out, and landed face first on the ground. Ow! Why did I... Huh? Nancy looked to see what was wrong with her legs, only to notice that she was wearing a long, flouncy dress. What happened to my fashionable high-waist jeans? She wondered. Nancy reached into her pocket and pulled out her trusty cell phone, ready to call her friends and or Google how to drive a stick shift. Sadly, the phone had no signal. Nancy groaned. There's no internet here? Why don't they have internet at... She looked up and read the sign in front of the building. The Lilac Inn? A hotel without internet? Ugh, no thank you. And then I've only wrote 2 other sentences after that. Nancy walked to the front of the building when she noticed a phone on the wall. At least she was pretty sure it was a phone. So yeah, I wrote like about a page of another Nancy Drew parody story, and that's as far as I got. But that's not all. You know how the bonus scenes at the end of The Deadly Device have Gummy Bear Theater? So I once thought about making a bunch of videos in that style. But Nancy Drew Theater presents The Silent Spy. My name is Nancy Drew, and I like solving mysteries. Hello, Miss Spy. Do you know anything about my mother's death? Not talking, huh? Well, this is boring. I'm going to make some cookies now. Bye! The end. The joke being that the spy doesn't say anything because it's a silent spy. Nancy Drew Theater presents The Secret of the Old Clock. My name is Nancy Drew, and I like solving mysteries. Look, there's an old clock. Hello, old clock. Will you tell me your secret? No. The end. Nancy Drew Theater presents The Secret of Shadow Ranch. My name is Nancy Drew, and I like solving mysteries. Dave, Shadow Ranch is so cool. What's the secret? We put up lots of umbrellas, so there are plenty of shadows at the ranch. Oh, that makes sense. The end. Nancy Drew Theater presents Shadow at the Water's Edge. My name is Nancy Drew, and I like solving mysteries. Hello, scary monster. Can you tell me about the Scary, you're a monster! Nancy runs away. The end. Nancy Drew Theater presents Trail of the Twister. My name is Nancy Drew, and I like solving mysteries. According to this weather chart, the Twister went from point A to point B. That's the trail it followed. The end. And here's the last one I wrote. Nancy Drew Theater presents Secret of the Scarlet Hand. My name is Nancy Drew, and I like solving mysteries. Hello, Mr. Scarlet Hand. Hey, wait a second. You're colored vermilion, not scarlet. Darn, you figured out my secret. The end. That's the last one. I don't have any other Nancy Drew Theater video scripts that I wrote. It was just an idea I had after playing the Deadly Device. I never made them into videos because I figured it would annoy people if I made a bunch of 20-second videos. All of them basically being a joke based on the titles of various Nancy Drew games.